It's not a race to get to the bottom, because you might end up at the bottom with your hair looking a hot mess if you're out here trying to do it as fast as possible. What is up, flockers? That is my fellow lockers and aspiring lockers. Are you wondering how to prevent getting holes in your locks when you're doing your reties and your maintenance? Well, if you are, then stick around because I've got some answers for you. One of the biggest mistakes that you can make while doing your retie yourself, or if you have someone else doing your retie, is rushing. Not taking your time when you're doing your retie. I don't know too many people out there that are just like, oh, I love to take my precious time with my retie. I want to do it and take several days or several weeks to do it. No, most of us have things to do, places to be, and people to see. So we're not trying to sit all day or multiple days doing our reties, but we do need to take our time when doing it, because you can create holes in your locks if you're not paying attention, if you're not taking time to do it correctly and properly. You just want to make sure that you take your time. It's hard not to rush sometimes. Your locks, your scalp, your journey will thank you later when you have taken the time to cultivate these locks and do it Now I'm not saying take your precious time and do every rotation extra slow and extra thought out, and you gotta pray on each rotation. So before you go east to west, you gotta pray on it, and then south to north, you gotta pray on that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying take your time. Don't be in a rush. You will be thankful for it later on when you're done with your retie, and as your locks grow and mature, when you have 0 holes in them and 0 issues because you took your time. My second piece of advice that I'm going to give you when it comes to preventing getting holes in your locks when you are doing interlocking, retightening, reties, whatever you want to call it, is to listen to yourself and to take a break if you are feeling tired. Again, just like I said in the last one, you don't want to rush. You want to take your time and go through it and do things the correct way. So when you're feeling tired, I'm a nighttime retire. I typically do it because I work a day job. So when I'm done with my day job and I've put the kids to bed and we're, just watching shows or whatever on TV before we go to bed, that's typically the time that I do my reties. And I have had times before where I'm getting super sleepy and it's late at night and I'm like, well, if I just power through, I can go ahead and get done. There has to be a balance. You have to know yourself, but if you are getting tired, it's better to just go ahead and go to sleep and finish. That's the great thing about interlocking, is that you're not having clips in your hair. You don't look silly and all sorts of goofy if you got half your head retied and the other half not retied. So if you need to put it off until the next morning or the next day, do not rush and do not feel like you have to finish just for finishing's sake. Take your time and also take a break. Whether it's in the middle of the day, the end of the day, the beginning of the day, take your time, take breaks when needed. Don't do your reties when you are tired, because being tired also causes you to make mistakes. You might be going through the same entry path multiple times, might not be paying attention and don't know what you're doing. You're all discombobulated and all off, you're mad, and so you're just trying to rush and get things done quickly. So take breaks, take your time. And another thing that is huge is that you want to make sure that you are not distracted. Again, all these things kind of go together, but you do not want to be super distracted. Now, I'm not saying you need to hold yourself up in a room all by yourself and have quiet and just focus and only look in the mirror and do, well, quiet as it's kept. Some people might need to do that in order to focus. For the majority of us, I'm not telling you to do all that. I'm not saying that you can't talk to people. I'm not saying that you can't be watching shows. I myself personally love to watch shows while I am doing my reties, whether it's watching other YouTubers, watching their videos, watching something streaming on TV. I like to use that time to kind of like a spa time and, decompress and whatnot while I'm doing my hair. But you still need to not be completely detached from what you're doing, because if you get completely detached, then you might get distracted. And like I said, when you get distracted, you start doing the same rotation over and over. You start being sloppy. You're gonna have a better chance of combining locks because you're not paying attention to what you're doing. Again, you may be rushing. So it's really important not to get distracted. I think there's a difference between distracted and being able to function and multitask and do multiple things. You can 100% watch TV or hold a conversation, if you're further along and have been doing it long enough, and know which rotation you're on and be able to have a conversation and be like, okay, I don't have to think about what I'm doing in the sense of like which one, because I just know my hands have been doing this long enough that it just naturally happens without me having to think about it. But especially when you're in the beginning of your process, if you're doing a 4-point rotation, for example, or a 3-point, and you're sitting there trying to have a conversation with someone, it's like, oh wait, I'm trying to talk. I can't talk and do this thing at the same time. I finally got into a place where I can talk and do my rotations at the same time, whether I'm here on camera with y'all or I'm talking to friends or family. But not everybody can do that, and especially in the beginning. So to recap, do not rush. It is not a race to get to it's not a race to get to the bottom, because you might end up at the bottom with your hair looking a hot mess if you're out here trying to do it as fast as possible. So do not rush when doing your reties. Listen to your body, and if you are tired, make sure to take a break. Don't feel like you got to do it all in one sitting or all at one time. If you feel like you need to go and take a nap or go to sleep or get you some food, then do that. And then also make sure that you are not too distracted, so that you are making mistakes, that you are making holes, that you are combining locks or anything like that. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button so that I know what type of content you're enjoying, and also hit the subscribe button so that you can join the flock. And before you go anywhere, check out some of the other videos that have popped up on the screen. I'll see you there.